Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video with me, Sherman. Today guys, I'm doing a little bit of a house tour. I'm going to show you what I've done to my house since my last video, just to kind of show off some of the interior decorating, of course, and the exterior decorating that I've been doing. And I want to give a major shout out to all the other content creators out there that do the cozy cottage stuff, and especially the clutter decorators. You guys are really huge inspirations on the community, and just a major shout out to all of you for what you do for the community. You guys are doing an awesome job. You're killing it, and keep inspiring others. And I hope that's what this video does, is helps inspire some of you to be a little bit more creative with your housing plots and with things that you can do. So that's it. Let's go ahead and jump into what I want to show off today. So today I'm going to show off this little entryway that I made. And of course it's not finished, it's still in the process of being built, but I did want to show it off a little. As you can see, I took liberty to take inspiration from another content creator in their fencing that you can do with the fence, but I kind of put my own flair on it, my own twist, to kind of create an entryway to my house. The trees, the pine trees, look really cute, I think, with this setup. And I think that the lighting just kind of captures it. And I wanted to do this at night so you could see what I mean by how lights can capture a moment in a way that you can't really take, that you don't take for granted, that you normally would take for granted, but it can capture a moment in a space and bring it to life. Now again, this is not the finished product, this is just some of the stuff I've been working on. But yeah, I put these little benches, half bench things, and then the big benches, and then with the fencing I kind of did this little decoration in the back behind it so you could see through the fences and see that there was something there. And again, it's an eye for detail. It's something to catch the eye. When you enter towards the house, you'll notice I have now I have a little carpet in front for wiping your feet off, along with a little clutter right here in the entrance. I saw somebody else do this with more flower pots than what I used, and they did a really gorgeous job with it. But I wanted to use more of the pottery in the game with the flower pot, and I think it does a really good job of creating a little entry clutter. And then walking in the house, you're going to notice a lot of things have changed. I've actually added another medium room on this side, and I added 2 small hallways and a large room in the back. But you'll notice I use a lot of mixed furniture and a lot of mix of other things to kind of create this entry room. I used some of the Capital Chick stuff. I used a little bit of the Homestead. I think there's a little bit of a mixture of everything in here almost. So I use the Kilima in lanterns to kind of light up the corners, and then I put some paintings up. I use some flower arrangements. Again, I'm not a big person for heavy clutter, so I do apologize. I'm more of an interior person, interior design person, so I like to use the space to decorate. And I'm going to use a term here. Sometimes a lot of clutter can do a good job, but then there's times where a little bit of clutter can do a really good job as well. And that's kind of what this entryway shows, is sometimes you can use a lot of clutter to create a scene or a space, or you can use a little bit of clutter to create it. And I just love the way this room turned out. I love the wallpaper mixed with the flooring and the furniture. I think it all blends together really well, and the lighting in here is perfect, especially at night. Like I said, when the light comes in from outside, the outside lights out here that I have, the 2 outside lights, it brings in enough light to kind of illuminate the atriums and the aquariums and stuff. And I wanted to bring the bugs and fish into here because of the entry kind of element. It brings life to the room. There's not a lot of clutter. But it does. There is enough to kind of just bring elements to life, and I really like the way this room turned out. Moving on to the bedroom here, you can see I went with the same motif I had before, where I had the wood paneling, more the rustic look. I went with the wood paneling floor, and I did this reclaimed wood floor here, all the way into that little cubby, kind of to give it that like a continuation, especially when you're standing over here. It almost looks like it blends together really well. And I also use some of the storage chests as items in the house to kind of add, to show that you can use them as furniture. This is the lock storage. So this is the safe storage box, and I keep all my furniture and furniture items and stuff in here, because that way it's not taking up space in my main storage, and nobody can get into your storage anyways. Even if they have like your housing stuff, they can't get into it. But in this room, I went with kind of the same aesthetic, kind of a mix of the ranch or the homestead furniture mixed with the log cabin, and then threw in some other elements like this Dragonite planter. And I love that planter, especially in that space. It really kind of fills in that space, but it also doesn't give you a lot of blank space. As you notice, like this has a lot of blank space. But I just like the way it kind of fills that space, and it really looks good. So over here again, nice little end table, use of a plant to kind of fill in the space, but also bring some color and life to an area. And don't be afraid to mix and match. It can do wonders. You can see I have that makeshift painting there, and it kind of does add an element of life to that wall, especially the fact that it's like a piece of a ship, and then they painted the glass with that on the background, and I love that scene. I don't know what that is, but I love that scenery there. Put my skateboards back up in this corner where I have like the clothing stand with the capital chick mirror and the bellflower. I think this is a bellflower. Yeah, armchair. Really like that. And then with this little nook, and I gotta give a shout out to the guy who gave me the inspiration. I don't remember your name, but I did watch your video on the 3 different rooms that you did, and you did one with like a dressing room, and I was like, oh, I like that. I got an idea. And as soon as I saw it, I got the idea for this. And again, if you notice how the lighting illuminates certain areas of the room, not to catch your attention, just to give it some like pizzazz or pop or whatever you want to say, it does a really good job. And I love the way the lantern, the Kilima Inn lantern, which by the way, that's what that is, Kilima lantern, lights up an area, but it doesn't light up the ground. It just lights up the above area, and I love the way it captures the stuff around the top, and it brings your attention to them. And again, a lot of makeshift stuff in that room on the top, but then when you get down below, you have more of the fancier pots and planters and stuff. Again, it's utilizing the space and making it still have a purpose, so I can still use the changing room in here. So I really like that. Alright, we're going to move over to the living room now. And you're going to see I kind of stuck to the rustic feel with the stone flooring, the wood paneling wall, but I kind of like added more of a rustic feel to even the way I decorated in here. Again, using items that you normally wouldn't use, like the treasure chests you find in the world. I use them as some of the like items that I could build around, especially with that wagon wheel in the back. It kind of adds, and the way that blends with the wallpaper and stuff. Again, it's taking texture and depth and blending it in a way that gives it some life. And I just love the way this room turned out. Not a lot of stuff on the walls, just enough to give it some life. And then of course I have this one blank side, which I might do something to. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of working out the idea. And then I have like this little game setting over here, which I really love this look, because it's using a lot of mixed furniture, because you have like the homestead stool with the Kilima Inn table and the homestead dining chair, and then you have the Kilima Inn Chazu game, and then the makeshift small frame with the log cabin wall lamp on the wall really adds to this scene. Like, this is an area where you might sit down with like a Shura and play a Shozu game while you talk about like just what's going on in the world. And I just love that. And then I did this little barrel with the jug. And then this one I kind of created my own inspiration for as like a little seating nook for at night when you just want to take a nice time to relax at the end of the day. You sit down, you grab your mug of ale, and you just sit back and you look outside, maybe, or maybe you just stand here and you drink your ale and just take a look outside and watch the nighttime, happen. But I really like the way this room turned out. It's cute, it's quaint, and of course there's no lighting besides that lamp and the candles, and I think that really kind of brings an element of life to it, and as you can see, it is really kind of a cozy spot. And that is that. I also, again, I love the use of these lamps if you use them to light up a space, because it brings just a little bit of attention to that spot. And then I love this corner section here. This is one of my favorite ones I did when I was working on it. I just kind of started putting stuff in the corner to see what I could do, and this is what I came up with. And after I got it done and I stood off at a distance and looked at it, I was like, I love the way that all the textures of the log cabin end table with the treasure chest in the back, the ancient treasure chest, and then the stool and the horn, and the bug trophy, and of course that wreath on the wall, and then that lamp really brings, makes that space kind of look really cute and cozy. So I love it, and I love the fact that I got to do something with my racing snail. So, and that clock just kind of fits on the wall because it blends really well. And then we'll go in here. I do want to show off this painting. I love that painting. I can't wait for us to be able to do houses like that. That would be awesome. If they add that to housing structure that you can get, that would be cool as hell. And those trees, the pink blossom trees. Alright, so back into the kitchen here. You can see I didn't use a lot of lighting in here. I wanted the fireplace to accentuate most of the room with the lamp in the middle. And then over here, this Ravenwood lantern just really brings a lot of light to space. And I love the way it illuminates this corner. Again, using the storage chest in here with this long cabinet piece. And then just not a lot of clutter. Just clutter up high in that spot. And then the painting. And then, of course, this wall hang. I just feel like it really again, it kind of insinuates that corner a lot, and it brings life to that corner. I love that corner. It's one of my favorites in the whole house. And then, of course, we have the kitchen area for all the cooking. And yes, I can do even all the way up to the celebration cake. I can cook everything in this kitchen. I'm glad I can, because I love to do the cooking in the game. So, really enjoy having that space. But you're going to notice here, again, utilizing the space, not to have too much, but just to have enough to kind of give it, like, bring a little bit of attention to spaces with the color and to catch the eye, like the pot thing off to the side over here with the orange and the silver and the green really catches the eye. And then you have this right there, that little cabinet, and then you have this cabinet up high over here with the 3 bottles on it with the planter. But you'll notice that planter has a purple on it, but I didn't want it pointing out because I didn't want the purple to stand out too much. So I put it up there at an angle so you just kind of see it. And then I tucked those 3 bottles to the back so you get some depth perception as you walk closer. They kind of disappear and hide. And that, again, is a decorating tip, by the way. So, again, that wall piece up there, and then over here I did this kind of corner thing in this corner. I did kind of trying to add stuff to the space, but not to like overfill it, just to bring enough to it. And I love that basket that I put up here. This is such a cute basket. just to have up there by itself, and I think it really does add some color to that wall, but it also adds like life to it as well. And then of course down here you have the log cabin wood holder, like it's the wood for the fireplace with the poker and stuff. And then over here I kind of stuck to the industrial in here. If you notice, I use a lot of industrial, but then I added some new elements to kind of bring some new life to it, but also to add new elements that just kind of stand out and catch the eye. And then I put a carpet under the table. I redesigned or decorated the table look. So I put the fruit bowl here instead of that big basket. I changed this plate to a catfish plate. And then, of course, that is the mushroom stew, not the loaded potato. With the teapot and that little container there. And again, a lot of clutter can be good when you do it right. And a lot of the people who do the clutter decorating, they do such fantastic jobs with the way they clutter stuff that it's something I can't do. So I'm just not that kind of person. I like to have my space. I like to make things functional. And it's not that they don't. It's just I don't have their eye for that. So, but I do have to say they do give me a lot of inspiration sometimes. And then I love the way the entryway, like where the door is, how there's two plants off to the side with this exact same cabinets with the different bugs and fish on them, really kind of like bring life to that section of the room. I really love that. I really do. I think it's such a nice compliment to each side. Really love that. All right. Now I'm going to go outside. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done with some exterior decorating. Now I've shown this off before, but I've done a little bit of touching up to it and kind of organized this space. So I still have the little outhouse with this, and then over here I have the little picnic spot with the clothesline. This right here with the table for when you're sitting out eating some bread and jam, maybe sitting out at night looking at the stars, you know, or you're just staring off at the pond. Have the little fireplace or fire pit here, and yes, it's functional. And then I have this little space over here. I really love this little spot here with the torch and the hay bale and the little makeshift end table with the flower plant on it. But then we're going to walk in here. You're going to notice I have the wall hang now. I adjusted this over here. I actually moved the lantern thing, and this is actually one that hangs on the wall. I just set it to where it was barely touching the table to make it look like it's resting on it, and I think it really does a good job, especially the way the light kind of, you know, the glow is underneath that one cabinet. And then I stuck this in the corner. I do have a wardrobe out here so I can change clothes, but I also do a lot of night fishing, and I've mentioned this before. This is my main income for most of the time in the game. Is I do a lot of fishing. So I'll fish in here at night when I'm waiting for crops to grow or I'm waiting for stuff to process so I can craft furniture. Now we're going to my garden. I redesigned my garden, guys. I wanted to go with something a little different, but I also wanted to take some inspiration from other cozy cottage people design and some other stuff, and I kind of just built this as my space for gardening. I like it, but I don't think it's as functional as I'd like it to be, but I do like the way it looks. I love this little entryway with the dragon or the phoenix statue, kind of, you know, making it to where you got to go around, and then you have like the fountain in the middle, and then you have the 3 plots here, the 3 across the back, and then the 3 over here. Again, really good. Sometimes when you look at the use of space of what you have to work with and you build around that, it can do some amazing jobs. One of these days I'm gonna be able to harvest you guys. I've been waiting for like 5 days on these blueberry plants. It's ridiculous. I need jam though, because I need to be able to make celebration cakes with the event coming up. I need to make money. You can also use your garden as kind of decoration too, which I love that you can do that. Now, I normally have this set up differently. I was using a lot of, I forget his name, but he posts a lot on the actual Palia Discord. He posts a lot that people share his gardening plot layout, and I use a lot of his layout when I garden normally, but I needed jam, and I didn't want the space to go to waste, so I planted my cotton at this time. But lately I've just been planting like whole crops of one thing. So, alright. So as you can see here, I just kind of did a little bit of decoration with the ranch stuff in the front. Again, storage chest here. Just to have that for like when I get done gardening, I can put my plants away that I want to keep, and then I can run over to the bin and sell. And as you can see here, I actually spaced all these out exactly all along here, and the same thing up here. It is all perfectly aligned. And let me tell you, it took me hours to do this. So just this right here probably took me 2 hours to get this lined up with the other side. I couldn't get the back to line up though. So, and then of course I have this all lined up as well. And this is my little crafting area because I wanted a space that felt alive, but at the same time I wanted it to blend in with the gardening kind of motif over there. So I did these little planters. I did, you know, little planters around the outside with some seeding and things like that, just to show that this is kind of connected to the garden. But then I put all my my seed makers here with the preserve thing. I put my glass maker out here, have my log or my wood plank makers, and then of course I have my 2 forges for making like the ingots and bricks. And then when you go inside here, you have like the crafting bench, you have the modification bench, and then I just did a little bit of decorating on one side. I was going to hang some stuff on the walls, but I was like, nah, you know, I like the way this feels. It feels like it's a workspace. You know, the chest is here. There's again a storage chest here. But it's just you know, like I said, the design is here more for inspiration to show people what you can do with space. And that's it. Like, will I keep it this way? Probably. I'm actually thinking about building the fence along to this wall, because it almost lines up perfectly with this right here, as you can see. And the way I measure everything out is I actually use the grid. So it would come, the fence would come to here. And I think that it could work if I do it right, you know, and I build the fence along here, and then I can plant some trees back here, you know, and maybe build like a forest scene back here. I don't know. I haven't quite gotten that far. I just wanted to kind of get this done, and I kind of wanted to share it with you guys so you guys can maybe get some inspiration. Like I said, maybe come up with your own ideas on what you want to do. And if you're wondering how I got all these fence posts like this, they're just placed one by one. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to placing them one by one, but once you get the routine down and you get the placement of like how to gap them and all that kind of stuff, it becomes pretty simple. And it works out really well. And I love the way this front entry looks. I love the little lamps off to the side with this using the log cabin with the bellflower fountains. It just looks like it blends together, and I really like that. The other thing I was going to do with these fountains was I was originally going to put them in these cubbies in here, and then I was going to build a bigger entryway that came from right here and came out, and literally just filled in this whole space. And then I was going to build like different things within here for this entry. But again, this is literally just a concept right here of an idea that I came up with that I wanted to try, and I wanted to get the layout of it and then like decorate around it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it yet, but I do like it, and I think that it's something that you can, like, anyone could do, and you wouldn't have to do like 2 sections. You could just do one, But make sure you use the grid to line up everything where you want it with the house, because that's going to be the hardest part, is getting it lined up perfectly where you want it, and then measuring out exactly how far you want it to go and the depth that you want them to be, and then making sure everything else aligns with it. So that took me a while to do, and then I learned that it's just a matter of counting the logs. So once I had the counting of the logs down, I was like, oh, okay, so this side's going to be a lot easier to do. And you're going to notice, like, the planters look off in size. I had to shrink these ones down. The reason these ones sit out further is because the trees. Like, I couldn't build them smaller because the trees were so far out. And I wanted to keep them lined up with the way these ones are lined up. If you notice, they are not exactly aligned, but like with the house. But that's because I placed the trees first. And the trees were originally perfectly aligned with each other. But I had to take these 3 trees down because they were lined up with the window, the central section of the window. As you can see here, like, I'll get closer. You'll see this tree is lined up with the edge, like right along the edge here of this window. And I tried to do the same on this side, but I kind of was off. But the posts are almost perfectly aligned with where they're supposed to be with the house. So, and that was the other thing, was lining the house up to get this entrance with the grid. And a lot of that, it just comes down to finding, like, lining these grids up with these grids and making sure you got them in the right place. So, but yeah, I really think this is a cute entryway. I love my garden. I love my little crafting area behind it. I wish I would have brought it forward more, so that way, the tent, like the end of the house and the tent were aligned. I think that would have been better if the end of the house came to where the tent was, because then the garden would sit out front of the house, kind of. But I like having that view from this room, the living room, out over the garden. And I like having the view from the kitchen out over the workspace. I really like that. So I'm glad I kind of aligned this way. And if you're wondering what I'm going to do with these spaces, I have some ideas for some other exterior decorating stuff. But it's going to take me time to get those things. Like, I want to get the gazebo, I want to get the koi fountain or the koi pond from Ashura, and do some stuff around that over here, the koi pond. But I might be tearing this down because, I mean, it is cool, but it is also kind of an eyesore when you look at it from outside of this way. So if you're looking at it from this way, it's an eyesore. If you're looking at it from this way, it's kind of nice. It kind of fits. But I would say if you're going to do like a big mansion, this would be better for a big mansion kind of entry right now, until we get some better fencing. And hopefully we will be getting some new recipes for fencing and other things. But I just love the way this house turned out. I think it works to the look I'm going for and the feel I'm going for. And everyone's going to have their own look and feel. But, I do like this. I do think it worked out really well. I think the garden turned out really well. This is the only thing that bugs me, is this right here. Like, I might just leave the lampposts with the tables and tear out everything else around it and see about coming up with a new idea. I don't know. Just gonna have to wait and see what I come up with in the future. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour. I hope this gives you some inspiration to kind of create on your own. And again, don't be afraid to mix and match, like furniture sets or decor. Sometimes it might take you a few tries, like for me, and I do want to point this out. This room here was the hardest room I had to decorate right here. And it was because it wasn't until I started placing stuff and I got the flooring down and the wallpaper up that everything started to click. And I went, oh, this is cool. I like this. I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. It's very aesthetically pleasing. And the blending of all the different stuff together really does have, you know, this attention, because on this side you have more of the lighter context with the windows and stuff, and then over here you have more of the darker context, or contrast with the flooring and the furniture. But I feel like the flooring and furniture on this side really blend together, and then on this side they also blend together but in a different way. So it's again mixing and matching. Don't be afraid to try new things, and create your own space that fits you. Like this fits me because it's kind of a mix of everything. And we're not gonna go any further with that because I could go into some stuff, but it's a mix of everything, and it kind of fits my personality. It kind of fits who I am. I love a lot of different types of music. I love a lot of different types of people. I love a lot of different types of things. So I pretty much will, like, when it comes to movies, music, even video games, I like a lot of different types. But I'm kind of like still attached to certain things, and that's where as you can see, I stuck with certain motifs, and then I just changed up some things. And remember, just because you don't have a lot of clutter doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's all the interpretation of the designer. Some people, like I said, those people who can do the clutter spaces really well, they're great at it and they have an eye for it. But then there's those who can't, who like the open space, and they like the feel of more of a realistic approach, if you will, and like the fact that this game gives you the ability to really interior decorate and design, and they like that, and they do what they can, and that's where you come up with things like this and stuff. So, but I love this game for this feature, and I shout out to the devs. You guys gave a great tool to inspire people like me to be able to create stuff like this, and so thank you. And then of course to all the other cozy cottage builders out there, you guys are killing it. Loving your content, love watching how you guys express yourself through your work and your designs, and it's inspirational to me. Like every time I watch somebody's video, I want to go redecorate my entire house. So major shout outs to them. And then to those of you that are doing the exterior stuff, like the stuff with the fencing and coming up with creative, uses for it, major props to you guys. You guys have inspired me in a new format, so thank you. Other than that, guys, you guys know what's coming next. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. And I do suggest, if you do subscribe, clicking that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Other than that, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye!